Ho, 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 ho! Happy holidays! Welcome, strangers, to Talkumentary, a show where we watch documentaries and then get together and talk about them.
Who is Santa Claus?
A jolly old laughing bowl of jelly.
A big fat man with reindeer.
He's a magical AF dude that brings everybody presents.
Santa Claus is the guy that laughs so loud that the house thunders.
Santa Claus has elves for workers.
Santa wears a nice red suit with white fluffy furs. What are you going to ask Santa for this year?
A SUV with small wheels.
A ticket to space on a spaceship.
Accoutrement.
A trip to the rainforest.
A bicycle with 3 wheels.
That's a tricycle. A therapist. But what I really want, more than anything else, something that would make me and everyone else really happy. Lean in close. I'll whisper it into your ear, Santa. Another episode of Talkumentary. Merry Christmas and happy holidays, everyone. And welcome to the 44th episode of Talkumentary. I am your host, Jeffy the Snowman. Happy birthday!
Oh, yes.
Allow me to introduce our crew for the evening, full of Christmas cheer, a little eggnog, and a whole bunch of candy canes. He's the head elf. He's King James. What's up, James?
What's up? Ho, ho, ho!
Hey, I like your leopard print hat there.
I know it's pimping.
It's kind of like the big panther that you are, right?
That's
a
true.
leopard, not a panther.
My elves are branching out.
Yeah, that's true. Do you guys smell that? It smells like sugar cookies and laughter. Am I hearing the rising of such a clatter? What to my wondering eyes should appear? Boys and girls, we are joined by the one and only Matty Claus. Hi, Matt.
Oh, hello. Hello.
That's right, my friends. He has taken a quick break from his duties this Christmas season to join us tonight all the way from the North Pole. Thanks for joining us, Matty Claus.
It took a long time to get down here, but I'm here.
Yeah. Now, to all our listeners out there, if your little children are listening and you want to spare them from spoiling any Christmas magic, we're going to be revealing a few things in this episode that might not be suitable for kids from 1 to 92. So please, at this time, pause the episode, get them all nestled, all snug in their bed so they can dream of sugar plums and other gross types of old Christmas candy. And I take off this nose because, man, this reindeer nose that I'm wearing hurts. Okay, while we wait for everyone to put Tiny Tim to bed, I'm going to get a few things out of the way. Please go out, rate, and review our podcast on your favorite podcast streaming services. Let us know what you think of our show. If you want to connect to our crew, look for @Talkumentary Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, or you can shoot us an email at info.talkumentary@gmail.com. Now that all the kids are gone, the real fun begins. No nudity at the buffet, please. We don't want that crap near our foods. If you're still listening, it's time to reveal a little secret, okay? Matt is not the real Santa Claus. Bum, bum, bum. I know. James, it's real hard to believe, isn't it? I know you had your hopes set really high that you were sitting next to the real Santa Claus.
Yeah,
This week... Let's get into our documentary, shall we?
Yes.
Okay. This week, it's time to celebrate Christmas. We slide down the chimney of a documentary that shows an entire year in the lives of 5 real bearded Santa Clauses to find out what the rest of the year and then the build-up to that magical night is like for a man who perpetually looks like Jolly Saint Nick. Here is the trailer.
What can I tell you? It's St. Patrick's Day. We're all drunk.
When I finally found out that there was any such thing as men who liked men, I knew that was what I had been all along.
Oh, well, I don't just do real estate. I also take pictures of the Easter Bunny.
I make mean barbecue, ribs, pulled pork.
I'm on staff of what is popularly called a sex club. And you'll notice it says right here, no nudity at the buffet.
A little bit of Santa's cookies. I lie to people and tell them this is what I smell like when I sweat.
Oh, so good.
I've always been Mick Foley as Santa Claus. Nobody's ever been under the impression they were actually meeting Santa Claus. So I would like to see if I have what it takes. So I'm going to give it a try.
How's that feel on your scalp at all?
It's more of the balls rubbing against my shoulder.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it's the first time.
Being Santa is a job that if you didn't love doing it, you couldn't do it at all.
Here, will this help? Mommy.
It's kind of a tradition. He doesn't like Santa.
You're going to be pissing green tonight.
Directed by Tommy Avalone, produced by Tommy Avalone, Mick Foley, John Guarnier, Derek Kunzer, Ann Lindemann, Derek Lindemann, Jake Matthews, and Frank Williams. This film was a Warrior Poets, Virgil Films, and Abramarama production. Streamed on Tubi. I Am Santa Claus only has 4 reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, so it does not register on the tomato meter, but it does have over 100 audience ratings that give it an Ebenezer Scrooge-like score of 68%. Here are a few of those reviews. A 5 out of 5 star rating from someone on Rotten Tomatoes says, quote, "This will give you the holiday spirit regardless of the holiday you celebrate. Prepare to have your heart grow 3 sizes." Thoughts on that review, guys?
You know, it was definitely a different perspective. I'll say that much. But the biggest surprise, Mick Foley. Holy crap. I wasn't expecting that.
Yep. We'll get into that. A half-star review from another user says, quote, "This hunk of garbage was awful. 5 Santa Clauses? Everyone knows there's only one Santa. And the guys don't even live anywhere near the North Pole. This, quote, documentary makes it seem like Santa isn't even real. Utterly ridiculous." So I like that.
I think he was just being comical, of course. You know,
obviously,
obviously.
Anyway, we'll get a link to all of the credit information in the showy notes. Let's get into it. A quick warning before we get into the episode. If you haven't seen it yet and you want to see it before we see it, then go see it. And then we'll sit down and we'll talk about it. And then, so spoiler alert. Go watch it. Come back and join us. And join Philip with all the fucking holiday goddamn Christmas spirit. And
Happy fucking holidays.
Yeah. All right. First, let's talk about why we chose to watch I Am Santa Claus this week. Well, it's Christmas, of course.
Yes.
It's Christmas.
Yeah.
James, it's Christmas.
It's Christmas.
Christmas magic.
It's Christmas.
It's Christmas.
Yo, it's Christmas. Christmas. Ho, ho, ho.
It's Christmas.
Christmas.
It's Christmas time.
I could agree with that.
Okay. We needed a documentary that was about Christmas, and this one had pro wrestlers in it and Santa Claus. So why wouldn't I choose this one for our show? Had either of you seen this or heard of it before?
Nope, but I'm glad I did.
What were your predictions going into it, Matt? You said this surprised you. Why? What were you thinking it was going to be?
Well, I thought it was going to be less of the content that it was and more about holidays. And I mean, it was.
It was all about the holidays.
Oh, I mean, it totally was. But there was a different perspective in there that I was not expecting, which is totally cool.
Yeah.
But that's when you think of holidays and Santa, you don't necessarily think that's what you're going to see when you turn on the show. So, surprising. James's fucking phone. Can't hear it, but I can see it.
I can hear it. James, what about you? Why did this surprise you so much?
Well, it surprised me. I really expected like something crazy funny because the picture in the beginning, the dude was like, bottom when he was black hair and beard black. I thought, oh, this is going to be funny. You know, something like that, you know. And I said, okay, it's going to be about one person, and he's going to just tell everything he can do, everything was going to happen about Santa Claus. And that's what I thought it was going to be. But it came out to little girls start talking about how good Santa Claus is, all cakes and pies and stuff. And then they think it went from there straight to another way, you know, like, God, okay,
Yeah.
I get this, but, you know, wow.
Yeah.
It just surprised me.
Were you like, wow?
I'm like, wow.
Wow.
Look at this dude.
Wow.
Santa's over here cussing somebody out.
Yep. So in this documentary, we take a look into the lives of 5 real bearded Santas, and in the process are shown who they really are, which is human beings.
Yep.
Flawed, flesh, bone men. Some have jobs, some have families, they have hobbies, and they all take seriously, though, their responsibility to protect the integrity of the spotless, untarnished reputation of the man in the red suit, at least while they are portraying him.
Right.
So let's talk about the 5 Santas we meet for our documentary, okay? Santa number 1 is Santa Russell Spice, right? He's the one that we probably spend the most time with the exception of Santa number 5. He lives in his daughter's basement during this movie. He collects plastic for a few bucks, you know, not very well off, which is fine. Spends a lot of time on the internet. He actually gets let go from his job, has trouble finding another job, and despite being told see you next year from a Bass Pro Shops manager, he was not invited back the following year to be Santa, which can be detrimental to a Santa Claus, right?
Yeah.
So that's Santa 1. We'll get into each of them a little deeper here, but Santa 2 was Jim Stevenson. Jim is Gay Santa, who we met while he was doing a photo shoot for a Bears calendar, right? Which was the funniest thing.
Right.
James, I know you kind of got onto this episode last minute, and you were working while you had it playing in your ears. Did you have a chance to see this part?
Yeah, I saw that dude.
Yeah, laying in the bathtub.
I thought it was pretty good photography.
that wasn't-
to be quite honest with you.
You saw what?
I thought it was pretty good photography. You know, 'cause, I mean, you could picture the dude that's sitting there with his boots on, hanging out this tub of water.
Yep.
With nothing there, just, you know. And then the guy, was he throwing ice?
Was it
that ice that he was throwing at him?
I don't know.
Was it a tub or was it a trough?
Kind of both.
Well, he was big enough that it looked like a tub for him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but he was a trough.
That's
you
funny
know,
though.
chickens running around. I thought that was kind of. I thought it was. You know, he did good.
Yep. So he was the winner of Mr. Polar Bear at the Texas Bear Roundup. He and his boyfriend named Alex, who he was very giddy about throughout the whole movie, who he talked about often, and with whom I feel like he was a little bit led on by. Did you guys get that feeling?
I kind of felt that too.
Yep. So anyway, that's Santa Jim. Then we get into Santa number 3, who is the Santa formerly known as Santa Frank Pascuzzi, who legally changed his name to Santa Claus. He has a bunch of tattoos and considers his Santa persona to be the real him. Okay, Santa doesn't get as aggravated as much as Frank does, and as time went on, he identifies more as Santa Claus than he does as Frank. So he changed his name.
But there's more to that.
There is. Santa number 4 is Santa Bob Girardi. He's our hillbilly from West Virginia, now living in California, a real estate agent who also takes pictures of the Easter Bunny. He's probably the most laid back of all the Santas that we see. And finally, for Santa number 5, we learn that being Santa isn't just the red suit.
Well, it's not the beard, and it's not the red suit. It's not even the bowl full of jelly. It's really what you have in your heart. I think anybody can be Santa if they have Christmas in their heart.
Oh my God.
like most kids, I loved Christmas. But it wasn't until I had children of my own, I took them to Santa's Village in Jefferson, New Hampshire. I don't think it was until that time when I realized just how much Christmas could mean to me and how big a part of my life treasuring the magic of Christmas year-round could be. At that time, I was on the road about 300 days a year, and we would literally use Santa's Village was our place that we would talk about going for months.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Mick fucking Foley. Mick Foley, a.k.a. Mankind, a.k.a. Dude Love, a.k.a. Cactus Jack, a.k.a. the Hardcore Legend, a build weight of 287 pounds, the 2013 inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame. I was so happy when I found out that Mick Foley was a part of this story.
What a glorious moment.
I know. I love Mankind. I love Mick Foley, and I love him even more after watching this documentary.
Like, he's one of the most iconic wrestlers, like of my age, like
for sure. And after watching this, he seems like such a cool dude, like such a good dad, such a well-rounded person, anyway. So a lot of different stuff happens in this documentary. We basically go back and forth between all the different Santas telling parts of their lives. And in between, when they're telling this story, one of my favorite things about this film was they have the best animations I think I've ever seen. So they basically did claymation just like there was in like the old Rudolph and Frosty movies. Right. It was so good. Did you guys agree with that?
I did. Yeah, I like that.
That was a really cool idea.
Bring back memories.
Yeah, for sure. So again, like I said, the doc bounces around a bit, so maybe we'll just kind of go one by one with these Santas. Santa Russell. What do you guys think of Santa Russell? He was the first guy, the guy that was kind of on his birthday was on St. Patrick's Day. He gets super drunk and the next day is all hungover, not feeling good. What do you guys think of Santa Russell?
It's kind of funny because that's how I imagined like the store Santa being when the holidays were over anyways. Like being that guy just goes gets drunk after.
We watch things like Bad Santa.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking of.
Yeah. So, he's also, I found this funny about Santa Russ. He's the Santa that ends up getting super lost. So he's looking for a trailer park that he wants to move into because he's living in his daughter's basement and he's going to go live in this trailer, try to live in this mobile home, possibly rent it. And there's something really funny to me about a Santa Claus needing GPS and getting lost, right? Like, he can't figure out how to use his GPS and he's getting lost. Like, aren't you supposed to be able to go from house to house and like magically show up in the?
Know who
of course, he would
is.
disagree with that.
What's that?
He would disagree with that.
Yeah, well,
you'll be a couple of other names.
Like what?
Like I can't really speak those right now. I am a Christmas guy, not Christmas guy. Can't talk like that.
Okay, America. All right. Probably, obviously. So Santa Russ, he's the one. Probably the biggest problem in the story is Santa Russ finds the fact that he was at risk of not getting his yearly Santa gig. Right. So apparently, you get these gigs and it's several months worth of playing Santa. So a lot of times they'll be gone for like 2 months, the 2 months leading up. And from what I understand, so this is something I feel like we don't think about a lot when we, think about mall Santas, because for me, I assume that Santas are just kind of local guys that, they wake up, they go to their job as Santa and then they come home. But that often isn't the case. They actually travel somewhere. Mm-hmm. They get put up in a hotel room or in a little apartment or something. And, they have to live there, and a lot of times by themselves, which is kind of lonely, honestly. Mm-hmm. So he gets told, see you next year, never hears anything back. And having a contract for these recurring Santa gigs, Russ says it would be financially devastating to him if he didn't get a Santa gig around that time of year. A big part of his yearly income comes from playing Santa, so we do find out later on that he does get a gig as a mall Santa at the end, which is pretty good for him. in Minnetonka, Minnesota. Lake from the waters of Lake Minnetonka.
That's epic.
Yeah, he gets put up in a little hotel room, and he brings all his fine china and his little crackers and
all that thing. Yeah, I'm gonna make this little lake home.
Yep. How do you guys feel like you would do with something like that? Would you enjoy playing Santa as a?
I mean, if I was collecting Social Security and I didn't have anything else, and I looked the part, yeah, I'd probably do it. I mean,
you think?
I mean, I'm 37 and I almost look the part now. So I mean, I'm
I
just.
think all you're missing is the white beard. At the moment.
Maybe I'm just practicing for 30 years down the road.
Yeah, you'd be a good Santa.
This is my resume right here.
Yeah, in 30 years, you'll give this episode to your future employers and go, look at this.
Yep.
And here's your head elf.
This was me predicting the future.
They said that being the elf is if Santa's the best job, the elf is the worst job.
Yep. That's what it is.
If I'm doing this in 30 years, he's going to be 90, so I'm going to have to be pushing him around and.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I'll be up there in age, just a tiny bit,
Oh boy.
Oh wait, do elves age?
No,
of course not.
That's right.
Well, they said that real Santa, he died. He was 73 years old when he died.
No, I'm sorry, but the real Santa's not dead.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Well,
he lives eternally in the hearts of everyone who believes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we know from the movie Santa Claus that it is passed down when they die.
Yeah, to the next whoever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's get into Santa number 2. Santa Jim Stevenson, gay Santa, our Mr. Polar Bear from the Texas Bear Roundup. Jim works at an antique shop. He said something probably to me that was kind of profound, right? He said something really special about playing the part of Santa Claus. And that was when people bring out their or put their newborn children into your arms for the first picture with Santa, you realize that you're a part of people's lives. You're in their pictures. Even when Jim is dead and gone, people will look at those pictures of him with their kids in their arms. He is a part of that child's story now, forever. He sits in that photo album or in that photo, folder on your computer or whatever, or gets put into the baby book as child's first visit to Santa. That's pretty special, man. For a lot of families. I know that it exists out there somewhere, a picture of me with my first Santa, and that guy, whoever he was,
it's probably gone.
Yeah, he's probably gone, and but that's kind of a special thing, you know.
That's a funny thing because, man, I was just thinking, when I was a boy, I was like I'm the only son, so she's like, you can have your way, whatever, right? So I looked at the pictures when I was grown. Me sitting on Santa's lap with these guys doing the red water boots on. Because I would never take them off. So.
You had boots on?
I had red water boots on, those rubber ones that go all the way up.
Yeah.
And I looked so ridiculous. I had on blue jeans, a long white shirt, and
red water boots.
Red water boots that my mom said I wouldn't take them off. So she just said, I just let them go ahead and do it anyway.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
So Santa Jim, him being gay and also playing Santa is a big focus of the story.
Yeah.
At least his story. I think it was a smart move on the part of this documentary and the filmmakers to show that real bearded Santas are very much normal people with normal lives, and they don't all fall into the same spectrum of beliefs or lifestyles or backgrounds, but each of them take their role as Santa very seriously. Dare I ask thoughts on that?
Go ahead, Matt.
I was very surprised that was part of the focus, his sexuality.
Yeah.
Although this day and age, it's people are people, and people have different preferences, and just because it wasn't in the mainstream 20 years ago didn't mean it didn't exist. So it's always good to see a different perspective, and I think it's enlightening to see different,
yeah, for sure,
Santas.
And I think this I'm gonna skip forward a little bit in my notes, but I think that this is something that's a little interesting. So they talk about, one of the overarching things that they keep going back to is the Fraternal Order of Bearded Santas, or Forbes. Okay. This is an ongoing get-together of Santas to socialize, eat, talk about all things Santa, all that. It's a convention. It's a 3-day Santa convention, pretty much, right? Most of our Santas went to it. Some of them roomed together. So Russell and the Santa formerly known as Frank, they roomed together. And one of the things is kind of shows you that even in the world of Santa Claus, you can bring some politics and some things into that world, that just like any other organization, right? The big one that they're talking about are these rumors. We find out these rumors are true, but rumors that the new president of the Fraternal Order of Bearded Santas works at a swinger sex club, and he himself is a swinger. So that, along with Santa Jim being gay, and who knows what other areas on the spectrum of sexuality and all that through all these different Santas, right? But there's a lot of Santas that believe this does not align with the ideals and character of Santa Claus, so it should not be allowed in, or especially to lead this organization. To me, and I'm interested in what you guys think, what does Santa's personal life have to do with what they're doing? If it isn't hurting anyone, if it isn't breaking any laws or anything like that, why should it matter? Jim fears that if people knew about him, they wouldn't allow their kids to sit on his lap. Well, that obviously has nothing to do with how he interacts with children. Right. He's not a pedo or anything like that. He's just into the same gender. Obviously if you found out someone was hurting people, hurting children, or it was into something really awful like that, yeah, you shouldn't just not be Santa. You should probably be in prison.
Oh, yeah.
But, why would sexuality matter in this case? James, do you have thoughts on that? It's a safe space.
Okay. I would say I agree with the guy. It's people, because,
You agree with what guy?
I agree with when he said people would act indifferent. Maybe not a lot, because like this time and age, things are different from back when I was. When I was born, that wouldn't even fly. They wouldn't fly at all. But today, there's still people that think that Santa's pure and clean and everything else. But if you look at the
character of Santa is
right,
but people are their own people, right?
Yeah, because we still have to remember Santa Claus is still a fictional character,
right?
No matter how you put it.
Right.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna put this down.
Yeah, go ahead.
Santa Claus started in the 3rd century.
Okay.
Santa Claus' name was Nicholas.
Yep, Saint Nicholas.
Saint Nicholas. Saint Nicholas was the patron of children, of the poor, and of prostitutes.
Really?
Just to put that out there,
Okay.
So when you get to talking about what these guys were and all that stuff, it didn't matter to Saint Nicholas what they were. He was out there doing good, giving gifts and helping people out and everything else like that. So
maybe the spirit of Santa Claus is giving regardless, and being kind, and being fruitful, and being regardless of where you come from and all that.
Right. It didn't matter because he was out there helping everyone. That's what it was about.
Then why, pray tell, St. James, why, pray tell, does Santa Claus give bigger, better, more expensive presents to all the rich kids and not as expensive and better presents to kids who are in poverty? Tell me that.
Yeah.
I know nothing about that. I think nowadays it don't really matter because everything is high as hell. I mean, high as heck. Sorry about that.
That was the first time you've ever cursed on our show.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Take that off. I meant hellfire.
Hellfire.
Hellfire, baby. Hellfire. No. But the way I look at it is this. I really don't have an answer for that one.
No,
that was kind. I think
it's just a joke. The joke
I'm
is
trying to answer it, but I can't.
If Santa Claus is the parents, so
Well,
Mhm.
you know,
I hope everyone's kids aren't listening.
yeah,
because-
Santa
I
Claus
hope
is
nobody's kids are listening.
could
that
be
are
your
young
grandma,
enough to still believe
granddaddy.
in Santa.
What it is.
right,
And if they are, it's because their parents let them.
right. And it is what it is. They don't have to believe me.
No.
I never claimed to be a good
No.
influence.
Yeah.
Um,
I didn't beat up a Santa and take his suit.
no, that's where we got that, isn't it?
Nope, we got through with the suit.
Okay, so Jim is talking to a fella named Alex that he met online. They are a couple, but they don't get to see each other very often. Jim gets very giddy and happy when he's talking to or about Alex, and he gets very emotional when he talks about how much he misses Alex and how much he wants to see him. At one point in the documentary, Jim actually gets to go down to Dallas and see Alex. And it seemed like they had a lot of fun together. They go to the zoo where, of course, they spend a lot of time around the bears. And he's even riding a polar bear on the carousel, which is, kind of funny. If you don't get the reference, a large, hairy gay man is known as a bear in the gay community. So there you go. At one point, they're sitting, and I just got to, this was a little bit of a pet peeve of mine, and James already knows this about me, but they're sitting there talking about their relationship, whatever, and Alex is eating a sandwich, and I wanted to fucking die when he was eating that sandwich because he had the microphone turned way up, and you could hear every mouth noise, every mouth noise that Alex was making. He's eating, of course, like an egg salad sandwich or something disgusting like that. I love egg salad, but it's gross to listen to.
This is also James's superpower.
Yep.
James can make it sound like he's on a microphone while he's eating, even if he's not.
Right, like that. Yeah, I got that. I got that. When we all can't have our special powers like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So anyway, to wrap up Jim's story, I felt bad for Jim because I felt like Alex was just playing Jim when he was around and didn't make any real effort. Alex and Jim, if you're listening and I'm full of and I'm off, then great. I'm happy for you. But I really feel like you would have made some kind of effort to go be there with this man who claims to love you and care about you, and you claim to care and love about as well. It just didn't feel like he was getting a lot of effort from this dude. So I felt kind of bad for Jim.
I felt the same way. I mean, just reading some of the body language when Jim was on the phone with Alex, like it was pretty clear that even Jim was having some doubts, on his genuine feelings. I could say
he just struck me as Jim just struck me as kind of a lonely man, and that makes me sad to think of anyone just constantly being lonely. Okay, so let's move on to the next Santa. Santa, formerly known as Frank Pascuzzi, now legally Santa. He says he doesn't want to be saddled to a desk job. He wants to be Santa 24/7. But for now, he's in the fire sprinkler business. We don't spend as much time with formerly known as Frank as some of the other Santa Clauses, but we do get to take a look into his life as a barbecue pit boss, which is his other passion besides being Santa. Guys, if I don't get my hands on some pulled pork raviolis sometime soon, holy shit, did those look good.
I didn't get to see them because I was only listening.
Oh, dude, go back and watch it. Watch when he serves up those pulled pork raviolis. Oh,
I'm going to have to
my
look it up
God.
because that does sound really, really good.
Dude, they looked so good. That was my favorite part of Frank's story. Anyway, anything else about Frank?
Frank said that he needed the Santa persona as much as he needed the Frank persona because sometimes he said that sometimes he just needs to feel the way Frank was, which was could you remember that? He said he needed to feel his anger and whatnot because he felt that Frank was angry, that he knew he was an angry person, but that being Santa kind of helped lift him out of that. And
Didn't he say that he preferred Santa to be Santa?
Yep.
Rather than to be the other one?
Yeah.
Yeah, he identified more as Santa Claus than he did as Frank because Santa didn't get as aggravated. Santa didn't get as frustrated. Santa wasn't as quick to anger, And to me, okay, a little bit of a psychology background in my life, but not claiming to be anything professional, but I look at that and I go, there may be some things that you need to work through.
Yeah.
And having, adopting a Santa persona feels a little bit like it might be a little unhealthy. Not to make any assumptions about the man, but like, I think maybe you need to learn to work through some of those anger issues instead of masking it.
Right.
I
agree.
Yeah.
He's escaping from reality.
Yes. You're kind of avoiding it if you're just taking on another persona, because someday that's going to bubble out and Santa's going to flip a bitch off his fucking lap and start smacking a kid across the face with a pillow or something like that, or worse. And yeah.
And there I'll be right there to take Santa Claus out for all the little kids.
And then sit down and go, I'm the real Santa.
I'm the real Santa Claus right here. Ho, 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 ho.
I've got your ho-hos.
Bring the hose. Bring the ho-hos.
Where them ho-ho.
Ho-ho. Ho-hos are those things that got the creamy middle that swirl and stuff like that.
I love the ho-hos.
Them the ho-hos. Those are the ones I'm talking about,
Ho-hos?
But Santa, you keep your own ho-hos yourself, you know what I mean?
You're saying that directly into the camera. That's good.
Santa, because he can see me.
Yeah. Well, Santa can see you all the time anyway.
Well,
he sees you when you're sleeping, which is most of the time for you, James.
That's right. Most time.
Yeah.
You can't see me when I'm in the shower. That's a good thing.
In other words, Santa watches Talkumentary quite often because
he hasn't given us a follow yet, that son of a bitch.
Well, yeah.
Shame on him.
Shame on him. All right, Santa number 4, Santa Bob Girardi. He's our hillbilly Santa. Bob has said to put Santa at number 3 of his top 3 important things in life. Number 1 is faith, number 2 is family, and number 3 is Santa Claus. He's our religious Santa. He's even shown singing a song called Jesus Saves to the tune of Jingle Bells.
Yes, I heard that.
Jesus saves, Jesus saves, Jesus fucking saves. I don't know.
Is that what he said?
Well, no, probably not.
Probably not. That was the other Santa Claus said, probably, but not that one. The third one. For a second one?
I don't know. Anyway, being the singer that he is, Santa Bob teams up with another Santa and they put out a Christmas album. That's nice, right?
Yeah.
Right? I guess.
Yeah, he probably got about 2 or 3 people that bought the album.
Yeah. Bob also probably has the most cushy of all the jobs playing Santa. He's got this really nice little apartment the whole season. He was showing us around and it's like, wow. Wow.
This is like, wow. That's everything.
It made the little hotel that Russell was staying in look like a hole in the wall. But like, hey, you know what? Good for you, Bob. Like, you're doing your thing, right?
Right.
All right. Anything else about Bob? So I liked meeting all the different Santas, right?
Right.
But Mick Foley, he's the star of this show, right? In my opinion, we probably could have done without the other ones.
Yeah.
I liked seeing the difference of people. I really did. And I do think that was important. And I liked seeing that Mick Foley was a part of this. It almost felt like they could be 2 different documentaries, though. Like the documentary of Mick Foley becoming Santa Claus and how special that was, and then a different documentary about how different and real all the different Santas are. It works, but anyway, Mick Foley. I love this guy, right? He's always had a love for Christmas, even if you followed his wrestling. Santa Claus always followed him, even in wrestling. He'd show up dressed as Santa Claus. He says that he used Christmas music as his warm-up music before going to matches, which is really kind of awesome. I'm not a big fan of Christmas music. My wife is a huge fan of Christmas music. I don't care for it most of the time. But anyway,
when I was younger, I really loved it.
What's your favorite Christmas song?
Silent Night.
Silent Night.
And Drummer Boy. That was my rumba tum tum. Rumba tum tum.
Rum pum pum pum. It's pum pum, not tum tum.
When I was a kid, it was tum tum.
No, it's never been tum tum.
Hey.
From the hood.
Tomato.
P and T. Rum tum pum pum.
Tum tum.
Tum tum pum pum.
Okay.
Rum tum tum tum.
Okay, Talkumentary strangers. Which one is the best?
Yeah, email us
Email us and tell us.
info.talkumentary@gmail.com. Is
Right.
it parum pum 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 or parum tum tum tum?
What sounds
Definitely
better?
parumpa-pum-pum.
We're not talking to Santa today.
Okay, so what stood out to you guys about Mick Foley as Santa?
He seemed to be more real about the whole thing, and I kind of like the way him and his kids interact and all
Me
that.
too.
Like that, you know, they were all into it. You know, nothing with them showed any type of malice because other kids sitting on their dad's lap and things like that. So
Right.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Oddly enough, with given who Mick Foley is, being a WWE wrestler, he if you've ever watched his wrestling, go check out some of his old wrestling videos.
Yeah.
You will know that he was far from a normal human being in his wrestling persona.
He was known as being one of the most extreme and violent wrestlers
He was.
in the business.
Yeah.
He still is known as
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Never I mean, one of his most famous matches against The Undertaker in Hell in a Cell, right?
Mm-hmm.
He is a nut.
Yeah.
Like he will do anything.
And
Go ahead.
And the ironic part of all of that is in this show, he is the most normal one.
The most normal, the most gentle,
Yeah.
the most, down to earth, but he plays that persona. It became his thing, the hardcore legend, right?
Mhm.
He was just and that's such a crazy juxtaposition. And it's almost fun.
And I'm so mad that I didn't make a Sacco figure.
Oh, why didn't you?
I don't know.
You could have made Sacco with a Christmas hat on.
I know.
Yeah. Anyway. So we find out in this documentary that whenever Mick has put on a Santa suit, it's always been Mick Foley portraying Santa Claus, never, actually trying to pass as Santa Claus. But this year, the year of this documentary, he's going to try his hand at being Santa for real.
Mm-hmm.
We get to see him going to the tailor, getting his suit fitted for him, just like Matt so nicely fits him.
He had a nice suit too, though.
He did.
Yeah, that
He
was
did.
sweet.
We get to see him working on putting his beard, right? Bleaching his beard, which apparently can be pretty painful.
Yep.
From that bleach, I guess.
I mean,
Yeah,
that
it
makes
bleached about
sense.
what 4 times to get it like it was looking.
Yeah, and they were saying like gray isn't white. So just having a gray beard isn't Santa Claus. You got to have a white beard. So you bleach it in. Like, oh my God, that sounds.
I mean, that makes sense. Chemicals on your skin. Yeah,
I suppose.
It's never a good thing.
Yeah, well,
especially when you have to do like multiple rounds and like your skin's raw as fuck already.
Yeah,
so,
Matter of fact, that's the new craze now. If you guys don't know,
James, what is dyeing your beard?
No, not dyeing your beard, but they'll dye their hair white. I dye my beard for just for my own liking.
Okay,
just
dye
to let
beard.
everybody know. But the white hair now,
Looks great.
It's a new thing.
Yeah,
and I saw that. I'm like, well, okay.
Wow.
Yeah, that'll work.
I thought it was funny because he was very, very adamant. Like he was gonna do the fake beard at first, and he's like, but if a kid were to pull on his beard and it pulls down, it would ruin it for that kid. And he's like, I don't want to be responsible for ruining it for that kid. So I'm gonna do my beard the right way. Okay. He goes to Chicago area, somewhere near Chicago, and he meets up with a Santa mentor or a Santa coach, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
The man who has a bachelor's degree in Santa Clausology. Is that real?
I don't know, but I hope it is.
Can one of you look it up right now while we're talking? Is Santa Clausology a real thing that you can get a bachelor's degree in?
Yeah, if that is, then maybe I should get one because Santa they get paid pretty good with their blue Santas. You know that? Yeah. Oh, his son. That was another thing.
So,
go ahead, Matt.
So there is an International University of Santa Claus. For $119, you get a thumb drive and 6 hours of training and guidelines on special events and posing and making gestures about Santa Claus. But I am not seeing anything on Santa Clausology. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It means that I haven't found it yet.
Okay.
So if there's any listeners out there that happen to find this
or are or do have a degree in Santa Clausology, please reach out to us. I'm very interested in this. We'll even have you on maybe as a bonus episode or something. If you are a real bearded Santa, we will have you on this show. Okay, if you reach out to us. All right. Okay. So one crazy thing that's kind of brought up in this documentary that is the point that as Santa, who is the most pure-hearted, untarnished person in current lore anyway, right? To portray him correctly, you have to be a good liar. You have to be able to sell a fantasy and look like you're telling the truth. That's an interesting kind of thing. You know, one of the things you don't really think about, like you're supposed to be almost the picture of perfection, right? Which is why movies like Bad Santa are funny, because it's this person who's supposed to be so good and pure, and he's this pile of garbage, right? That's why that's comedy. But does that feel a little weird, or like, is it just, I think
it falls right in line, you know, where the origins of Santa came from, Saint Nicholas being a religious upbringing
figure.
I think
He was a religious.
I think the fakeness and
that's what he was. But go ahead.
I think the fakeness is right in line because
it's all fake.
It's all fake shit.
It's all a conspiracy to get us to buy stuff.
Consume
and obey.
Okay.
Right.
Well, I guess it's time for me to add a little inlight to that one too.
Enlighten us, King James.
Okay. Romans started this. The Romans.
Okay.
They started celebrating a thing called, I think, if I might be saying it wrong, it's called.
Pause. Okay, go. Your camera came back.
Okay, it's called Saturnella. It's a celebration of the winter solstice.
Solstice. Okay.
Solstice, thank you.
Yep.
And it came on between the 17th and the 24th of December. What they did on those days was they had lots of feasts, lots of drinking, a lot of giving the gifts. I don't know if they had eggnog. They probably Romans, you know, they had eggnog. They probably did. They had all kinds of stuff there, and they was giving gifts and being joyful. The main thing they gave was small gifts, and the gifts meant like you would have like good fortune to you, you know, and that's where it came from. The Reds, at the same time, Christianity was being Christians were being persecuted. It just so happened that they overlapped each other, so Christians were able to serve the new religion under Christmas at the same time. So then that time they wouldn't be persecuted because they celebrating it, and underneath of them, on the cover of the Saturnella Romans, they would celebrate Jesus, stop him from being persecuted.
Okay.
And that's how that part happened.
Interesting.
Yep. I'm gonna keep going real quick.
Go ahead.
Get it all out here. The red Santa, the red suit.
The red suit, like what Matt is wearing.
Like Matt, and the beard and all that stuff.
Like what you have on.
Right. That came from mostly in the 1930s.
Okay.
Coca-Cola pushed that through.
They the one that
Coca-Cola's the one that made all that happen. They bring all that up.
The red and white.
The persona and all that. But the real Nicholas, he did give gifts, like I said, with the prostitutes and everything else, and the kids and everything. He really he really had a big beard, and he wore a cloak. You know, so those are the different personas between the two of them.
Yeah.
And I think that's all I have to say on that behalf.
Uh-huh.
Okay, let me see what else I got. Okay, we're good.
All right, so back to Mick Foley. He gets to hang out. He goes to like this like horror convention. He gets to I got goosebumps several times throughout this documentary, but it was only the first time was when they introduced Mick Foley. I'm like, yes. The second time is when he got to hang out with Roddy Piper. I love Piper.
Yeah,
I loved Piper. Piper and Foley get to talk a bit about being Santa and how it isn't really unlike wrestling in a lot of ways. Piper points out you kind of have to suspend your disbelief and put on a persona and perform for an audience. And you have to sell your gimmick being Mankind or Dude Love or Cactus Jack or Santa Claus, right? You have to do what it takes to sell. It's no surprise to me that Mick Foley did a fucking great job at being Santa.
Yeah, he was real good at it.
You know?
And when he was all done in his suit and his beard was dyed or
Yeah.
bleached, I mean, he looked like the part too. It was
He looked great, man. He looked really good. All right, so let's see. We already talked about that. One thing real quick to talk about that I thought was interesting, they talked a little bit about the health of Santa Clauses and how being Santa, you have a character that is known for being fat and jolly, right? Who is known for eating cookies all the time and all that. So a lot of Santas think that, it's okay to just eat whatever you want, whenever you want. Who cares? Because the fatter I am, the more Santa I am, right?
Until your heart explodes.
Yeah, so these guys warn you that you still need to be careful about how you eat, how you take care of yourself, because it's simply just unhealthy. It's one thing to be big. It's another thing to just be straight up unhealthy and eat nothing but junk all the time. So more pork raviolis and less cookies for Santa, please. Right. What do you got? You guys, anything about that? You all good?
I would concur.
Okay.
I would concur.
All right. So we kind of are getting toward the end of the documentary, the last few parts, because we get into when Christmas time is coming. So this documentary followed them throughout a whole year. And here comes the big day, right? The days leading up to Christmas. Let's get some of those sleigh bells in the background again here. As they prepare themselves for stepping out into the light as the celebrity of the season, they show a really neat montage where the Santas are preparing to go out. Carol of the Bells is playing. They're putting on their suits. They're combing their beards. They're, all that good stuff. Mick Foley puts on his suit for the first time and he looks really good. He goes out and is performing as Santa for the first time at Santa's Village, and he does a great job. He has the voice down really well. And he what do you tell Santa what you want for Christmas, young man? It sounds very authentic, right?
Right.
I want Mick Foley to be my Santa, just saying. And then the moment happens. I don't know if you guys caught this.
I did. Go ahead.
What? Tell me what you think I'm going to say.
About the balls.
Okay, go ahead. That wasn't what I was going to say.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It almost had me cracking up because he played it good. He said, "What would you like? Tell me." And he said, "A ball." And I'm like, "Oh, he wants a ball. That's all." And then he asked him again. He's like, "Is there anything else you would like? Please tell Santa." And he waited for a while and he said, Another ball. And then when he repeats it back, he said, "Well, he would like to have
two balls."
It was in his mind. You can see him saying how it sounds. So he said he would like to have two sports spheres.
Right.
That's what he said. But he really wanted to say,
"You want two balls."
He want two balls.
Yeah.
We can get you some balls.
Yeah. I think we could get together and do that for you, young boy.
Yeah, for you, kid, and give you two balls.
What I was going to mention was the moment came where a child tugged on his beard. And just the look in Foley's face when that happened was almost like, see?
Got him.
That's why. Because yes, child, I'm real. I really like that. But they showed all of the guys doing their Santa thing. And one thing that all these guys had in common was this was a very special time for them. They took it very seriously. They were, all that we could see, were very good with the kids. There was some times where the kids are screaming and crying and Santa's just kind of going, okay, let's go. But,
it's a tradition that he cries and screams for his mommy.
Right. Yeah. Why are you bringing him here?
What's going on?
Here's a clip about what it feels like and to look. Yeah, here, just listen.
When they come see you, they're just so full of joy. You could see if I'm sitting in my Santa chair and there's a line of people, they're smiling, they're laughing, they're talking, yelling, "Hey Santa," when I'm talking to another kid. They're just so full of joy. That brings me joy. I'm losing them.
I like, wow.
When I put on the suit and I'm invited to somebody's house,
Yep.
and I knock on the door, and the mom or the dad opens, and I can all of a sudden see the glistening in their eyes. I feel like I'm the best person on earth.
Jolly old Saint Nicholas, lean your ear this way. Don't you tell a single soul what I'm going to say. Christmas Eve.
Being Santa is a job that if you didn't love doing it, you couldn't do it at all.
Having one child on my lap, looking into my eyes, and being able to see the magic of Christmas in that child's eyes was every bit as important as having 20,000 people chant my name at Madison Square Garden. Thank you.
That's pretty crazy to think about. Like, if he's telling the truth there, if he's telling the truth, I mean, this man has been on the biggest stage in pro wrestling, right? Where a lot of people were a big fan of Mankind and whatnot. And he's saying this is a similar feeling to him. That really shows what he feels about this role, but it also, shows the power, I guess, of doing it. The magic of Christmas, it shows. On Christmas Eve, Mick and his family are sitting down to watch wrestling, which I thought was funny because his kids don't give a shit. He's like, look, Dad's on the show as Santa, whatever. And the kid's like, okay. But he still has some kids that believe in Santa. They know their dad's playing Santa, but they know he's just playing a role, right? So he's trying to do something kind of to make it special for them, give them one last Christmas, like, kind of miracle. So he goes and he puts on his Santa costume. He goes downstairs to try to fool his kids into thinking the real Santa's there, but they immediately see right through him. They're like, Dad, I know it's you, and he's like, no, it's me. It's Santa Claus. And they're like, nah, like, thanks, Dad, for trying, but we know it's you. But then arose such a clatter. They hear something and they go downstairs and the real Santa is there.
So fucking magical.
I know. It's so magical. Mick had found someone else to come play Santa.
That's a smart move.
Yeah, and it was a really sweet thing and everyone loved it and everyone felt warm and fuzzy and life is beautiful, right?
Yep. His oldest kid, that was his oldest boy, wasn't it? With the camera? Was that his oldest one?
I think so, yeah.
I mean, he really, really was into it.
He was
He was believing it.
Yep.
He still believe. I'm
Yeah.
like, wow.
I like, wow. I said that too, man. I like, wow. Okay, so probably to wrap up kind of what, our part on the actual documentary, Christmas Day comes, right? Millions of families around the world are enjoying each other, the presents, the food, the joy, the warm, the fuzzy, the cozy, all that good stuff. Hopefully, I'm sure Christmas time is a depressing time for some people. It's a hard time for others. The holidays can be hard for a lot of people, but it's often easy to forget the man himself, right? And people might think, they mentioned that people think that Santa must have the best Christmas ever. Well, in reality, Santa's time is before Christmas. It's the time leading up, right? But on Christmas, they're in a hotel. They wake up in a hotel. And a lot of them might not even have families of their own, and, thankfully for Mick, he got to be home with his family. But, we watch Russell wake up and he's going, now I got to pack up all my stuff. And he puts all his stuff into the boxes and into his suitcases. He gets ready to go home. And he also, to keep the magic alive, he doesn't want kids to see him out there. So he's kind of hiding, as to not spoil the joy of a kid who might see him out or whatever. And it's very often lonely for Santa on Christmas.
And people think, oh, Santa he must have the greatest Christmas of all. But actually, we have the least Christmas sometimes because we We have no decorations. We have to hide. You can't go out on the 24th because everybody's going to say you're supposed to be up in the air, going from house to house. And it can get lonely.
Merry Christmas.
When you see children in your suit at the mall, or when you just see them at Kroger's buying groceries, their eyes light up and you make them happy and they're excited. And whatever is going on in their life, you know, mom's telling them they can't have this or they can't have that. All of a sudden they see Santa Claus and it changes their whole demeanor. I mean, they're just so excited. Santas are the same way. You know, we have things in our life like losing jobs, just not having a spiffy time. And you go out and see people during the year or at the mall at Christmas time, whenever. You cheer them up, and seeing them cheer up cheers Santa up. Happiness is contagious. And if you make them happy, they make you happy, and then the parents get happy, and it's just a wonderful feeling.
That's a pretty profound way to think, you know, whether you're talking about Santa Claus and Christmas time or not. Happiness is contagious. And when you can make somebody feel good, I mean, we did an episode on happiness, and you know, when you can do something to make someone feel good, it makes you feel good.
Makes me feel great when I make people happy.
Right?
Yeah.
I know. That's what I'm saying, man.
You go to the job, instead of being like a stick in the mud, you know, it's good to have like little small jokes, laugh. It makes the day go by faster, and it eases the tension among people.
Yep. So at the end of the film, we get some updates on our red suited heroes, and Santa Russell moves into his own trailer in Central Michigan, and so he's out of his daughter's place. The Santa, formerly known as Frank, is still in the fire sprinkler business, hoping for his barbecue business to take off. Alex is still not attending the bear roundup with Jim, so Jim keeps going by himself, and I feel like Alex is full of horse shit. Santa Bob has a very successful Christmas season. He admits to giving away more of his CDs than he sold, which is kind of the true Kris Kringle spirit anyway, right? Mick Foley was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in Madison Square Garden, where he was visited by none other than Santa himself during his induction. Mick Foley has played Santa several times, with his son Huey serving as his number one elf each time. How did you guys feel after credits roll on this?
Well,
Matt?
I was excited to see that Mick Foley got to live out his dream. I felt like Russell, you know, he got his trailer, so you know, there was some success there. And, you know, I think ultimately most of them got what they wanted, you know, in the end.
Except for Jim, Alex didn't come to his bear roundup.
But I mean, I think we can all agree that he wasn't as genuine towards Jim. So.
Right, I agree. James, credits roll. You feeling good? You feeling happy? You feeling inspired? You feeling sad? You feeling depressed? You feeling like
jolly?
Yeah, bowl full of jelly. What's going on?
I wasn't feeling any kind of way, but I said, you know, it was pretty okay. I'm glad, you know, it's done with.
You didn't like this one?
I didn't too much really care for it. I think it got off the Santa thing and kind of more into. I mean, I'm glad they showed that everybody have different lives, but I think it shouldn't have concentrated on it so much. I think it should have concentrated on, you know, they did, but I mean, like they stayed on the gay thing too long. They could hit it up and then let it go. Don't make it a thing. They got issues. Okay, everybody got the same got issues too, but then go to the next one. You know.
Yeah, I think what it sounds to me like is you got swayed a little by what you wanted this one to be, and not so much what it was. And that's no criticism. I mean that is what it is. But like, it's called I Am Santa Claus, and it pretty plainly says this is the life of 5 people who
Right.
play Santa Claus in a year in their life. And I think that's exactly what we got. I mean, I think, there wasn't any claim that they were going to tell the history of Santa Claus or that they were going to tell about Christmas spirit or anything. This is what 5 guys who take their job seriously as playing Santa Claus, what they do. To me, I've never really considered myself to be a Christmas person. It's just, I enjoyed Christmas as a kid. As an adult, the spirit was sort of lost on me. I have noticed, though, that since being with my wife and having my girls, that it, all of whom, especially my wife, is very into Christmas, I enjoy it more. It helps me to enjoy it because there's some, to see them light up. With
Christmas
stuff.
has a meaning now.
Right.
You.
Yeah. And not that it necessarily didn't, because I had a good family growing up, and my mom and my dad, Christmas was a thing, and but seeing a film like this to me felt really nice, with the underlying message here being that no matter where you come from, no matter who you are, you can find magic in making people feel good. And I really like that part.
That is a great message, and that is exactly what this show embodies.
I thought so too.
This all walks of life, and I would imagine in different countries where there's Santa, it's the same situation because people are people.
Yep. What do you all say, listeners and crew alike? What do you all say that we make it a goal to make someone feel good or special this holiday season? What do you say?
I flipping love the idea.
Yep. I could go for
Whatever your religious beliefs are, if you celebrate a specific holiday, if you're alone or you're surrounded by family and friends, try to make someone feel special, feel good. Do it consensually and do it safely. So don't go being stupid out there. Jeff told me to. No. See how it makes you feel when you do something nice for someone else. And if you feel like it, get on and tell us what happened. You don't have to be specific, but we'd love to hear your story if you feel like it. Let's rate this one. What do you say?
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah.
Okay. I gave it a...
No.
I got to say my spiel first.
Yeah.
Finally, we've come to the time where we need to rate this documentary with an official documentary rating. Each crew member scores the documentary on a scale of 1 to 10 items, with 1 being as bad as not having a Santa gig for the season and 10 being as great as the spirit of Christmas itself. The item that is used for scoring changes each week depending on the content of the documentary we watched that week. And this week, we will be using hose as our rating item. So let's start with Mr. Ho 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 himself. Matt, how many hoes do you give this?
I gave it 6.5 hoes. So it's ho 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 ho. Right? Because the other one was a half a hoe, and then I added a whole
full hoe. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's 6.5 hoes.
Okay.
I just did it backwards.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
6.5. Why that rating?
6.5 hoes because it really wasn't what I was expecting out of.
I love how you guys rate things based on that not meeting your expectation of what you thought it should have been.
Yeah. Well, I
not for what it is. You guys got to meet people and documentaries where they are, okay?
Yeah, I
not
mean,
what you expect them or want them to be, all right?
So the content of the show was spot on. It was definitely the life of 5 different Santas, and that was what it said it was. And so, yeah, I mean,
you just didn't like it.
I mean,
you fucking hated this.
The
thing.
best fucking part of this documentary was Mick Foley.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like we could have done, like you said earlier, we could have done a whole freaking episode on Mick Foley being a Santa.
I would have loved every minute.
I would have watched it twice.
Would you have?
Yeah, and it probably would have gotten a 7.5 because it wasn't quite what I thought it was.
Right. Okay, James, how many hoes?
He's
got hose.
4 hoes for Santa.
4 hoes for Black Santa.
For Black Santa. What do you say? Black Santa, Japanese Santas, Muslim Santa,
Mexican?
Mexican Santa.
Okay, there you go.
I really was happy to see a black Santa in that fraternal. That
Oh
group.
yeah, that was good.
And he looked
I didn't get to see
legitimate.
it.
Man,
because you weren't watching. Yeah, you were listening.
Yeah, there was a legitimate black Santa, and he looked good.
Yep.
Looked
A
real
black
good.
Santa while I was painting the walls white.
Interesting. You were doing whitewashing.
I was
weren't you?
whitewashing the walls, and we got black Santa on there. Yeah, I gotta look that up. I gotta see what he look like.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll do Santa because they get paid good, you know.
For real,
I am all about the money sometimes.
I told you, man, you'd play good. You just got to stop dyeing your beard.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. When they get ready to do like the black beard thing, then I can go with that too. A hole or something. Anyway.
What, a pirate Santa?
a pirate Santa. But yeah, I gave it 4 because I just didn't care too much for it, to be quite honest with you.
That's all right.
You know, like you said, it did exactly what it said.
It just wasn't for you. That's fine.
Yeah,
You're just fucking have no Christmas spirit at all. Okay.
Yeah, it's fucking
thank
gone.
you very much.
Jeff, how many hoes did you give it?
I give this 8 hoes. And
That's so many hoes.
honestly, I know it's a lot of hoes. I'm not proud of it, but the I think the reason it rated so high for me, a big part of that was because of the pro wrestling connection to this. And I'm admittedly, a fan of pro wrestling, at least, especially in Mick Foley, Roddy Piper, that era. We even got to see Tommy Dreamer in this. We got to see Jerry Lawler in this. So I was geeking out a little bit about that just because I was such a fan. I like seeing behind the scenes on some of the people that I've been a fan of, like Mick Foley, and seeing that he is, at least from what he portrayed on this, a pretty genuine person and a good dad and a very neat person, right? And so that helped bring it up for me. I also I feel like maybe as opposed to you guys, I saw this for being like, I found it really interesting to see the lives of these guys that you don't know anything about them. You've got essentially, if they're doing it right, every Santa looks the same, right? For the most part. And, there's little variances. Some have a more traditional suit. Others have a more modernized suit. Some have the real beard. Some have a fake beard. Some of them are a little, rounder than others. Some of them, there's little variances. But for the most part, it's an iconic figure that you're going to recognize, so it's all the same guy, but it all is very, very different as well, right? Because they're all human beings. So seeing some of them in the different things that they go through, it to me was just interesting. I'm a fan of the people aspect of this and getting into the lives of people. For example, when we watched when we did Aircraft Carrier Guardians of the Sea, my complaint about that one was it was more about the Navy as a whole as opposed to the sailors. I want to get into the life of the stories of the people. Well, this one gave me the stories of the people, right? In the what's the matter, Matt?
My foot moved your table.
Oh, it's fine.
Sorry about that.
Nothing's hooked to that, so we're good. So anyway, that's why I gave this 8 hoes. So, ho, 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 ho. After averaging everyone's hoes together, the official documentary rating for I Am Santa Claus is 6.16 hoes. Thank you to all of our listeners for following along as you guided our sleigh tonight. A special thanks to Matty Claus and King James the Elf for joining me this evening. Happy holidays, everyone. Merry Chrysler, Merry Krampus, and may Krampus have mercy on your souls. Let's talk about next week's episode, shall we?
Let's talk about it.
All right. We are all in a community of air, and we're going to be exploring a film that touts as the most beautifully realized documentary in recent memory. We're going to follow the story of 2 brothers from New Delhi who have made it their life's work to care for injured birds, most specifically the black kites that fill the skies above New Delhi. We will be watching the 2022 film titled All That Breathes. Have either of you seen All That Breathes yet?
I mean, I think I've heard of it, but I have not seen it.
Not seen it yet? James?
I've seen it.
You've seen it? So, Matt, predictions on that one? Thoughts? What?
I got nothing.
Okay.
I got nothing.
James, without going into it, so people know so people don't get too many spoilers yet. What'd you think of that one?
I like it.
You like it?
I like it. You know.
I like it too. That one, that's an interesting one.
It is.
We, full disclosure, we already recorded that episode, and it is a good episode. I enjoyed talking about this one a lot, but we have some mixed feelings about the documentary itself. So tune in next week and hash that one out with us. Check out All That Breathes on Max before next week's episode. As I said at the beginning, rate and review our show. Follow us on all this stuff. If you've been listening this long, go to our social media and comment the word Krampus Kringle.
Krampus Kringle.
Krampus Kringle. You'll get a shout out on one of our future episodes. Next week, join us as we have mercy on our fine feathered friends, one documentary at a time. On behalf of Matty Boom Blatty.
Goodbye, everyone.
Say your tagline.
Oh, yeah, I got a tagline. Be a good human.
King James himself.
Ciao, baby.
Hey.
Hose.
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 Good golly, Miss Molly. We hope you're feeling better. And DJ and Matty in the booth and the entire Talkumentary family. I'm your host, Jeff Kolaski. I want to thank you all for listening. Happy holidays. I hope you keep your minds open and be kind to each other. Ho, 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 ho! Ho, ho, hos.
Ho, 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 ho.
Who's got the ho-hos?
Who got the ho-hos?
Who got the ho-hos? I got the ho-hos.
Yeah, there you go. You can get them at the store, too. They talk about it. I'm just kidding.
Welcome to Secret Trivia on Talkumentary. We just finished our show on I Am Santa Claus. So we are going to be doing 50 fun questions, trivia questions for family gatherings. But we're not doing all 50. We're only doing like 3 to 5 of them. So you guys ready?
Ready.
All right. Let's see. Which popular Christmas beverage is also called milk punch?
Eggnog.
Good job, Matty Claus.
Yep, eggnog.
Okay. What did the other reindeer not let Rudolph do because of his shiny red nose?
Play any reindeer games.
Boom. King James.
Golf clap.
St. James, I should say. Matty Claus and St. James. 1-1. Okay. How many ghosts show up in A Christmas Carol?
3.
Incorrect. James?
Oh, fuck.
In the Christmas Carol?
Mm-hmm.
I had to say, I'm going to say this too.
4.
4.
Right, because the guy that takes him around is a fucking ghost.
Yep. Yeah, what was his
Oh,
name?
you
What
talking
was that
about-
guy's name?
Asshole. That's his name. I'm just kidding.
Past, present, future, and then Jacob Marley.
Jacob Marley.
Yeah.
Yeah, or Marlowe.
Oh,
or
yeah.
whatever.
You're talking about the
Christmas Carol.
the guy that come out. I really, hey, good boy, could you please go there? They're talking about that big turkey in the window. Yes. Oh, such a young, good, jolly boy. Yes, here, go fetch it for me, old boy.
Well, I'm using that on our for our next reel.
Oh, sorry. I just remember that because I've seen it so many times. I'm surprised I remember.
That's
this
getting
full
saved
goal.
and sent.
Yep. Let's see. What words follow Silent Night in the song?
Ooh. Holy Night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my song.
I get to go first on the next one.
Okay, here we go. Which Hollywood actor played 6 different roles in The Polar Express?
Tom Hanks.
Boom.
Yeah.
Matty Claus
I
with
didn't
the
know
win.
that one at all.
Okay.
I never seen Polar. So.
Let's see.
Was it good?
It is. It's a children's movie.
Oh,
my family
and
watches
the
it
saddest
every
thing
year.
is that Tom Hanks will no longer ever be in a movie because of his medical condition.
What medical condition?
Yeah.
He's got I don't remember the name of it, but it's something that attacks his frontal lobe on his brain and affects his language and whatnot.
Shut the
I'm
fuck
dead
up,
serious.
dude.
Look it up. Look
That
it up.
sucks.
Yeah.
I don't want to look that up.
Yeah.
That's not Christmas spirit that I
No,
want
it's
right
not.
now.
Okay, next.
Okay, here's a good one. This is going to be our last one. Okay.
Okay.
Which one of Santa's reindeer has the same name as another holiday mascot? Do 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 do.
Okay, be sleigh bells.
Which one of Santa's reindeer? Somebody right now is screaming at their radio.
I know.
Think about the names of the reindeer. Name off some reindeers, guys.
Donner.
Blitzen.
Cupid.
Cupid?
Is Cupid one?
What is Cupid?
Is Cupid a reindeer?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know any songs that.
Cupid he's the love guy.
Yeah, for Valentine. The answer's Cupid.
Oh,
yeah.
the answer's Cupid.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which one of Santa's reindeer has the same name as
It's
another
a
holiday mascot?
Right.
Cupid.
Yeah, Cupid.
It's Valentine's Day.
Yay.
Yeah.
You want to do one more?
Yeah.
I ain't celebrating Valentine's Day in a long time.
Let's do one more for good measure.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do one more. Cancel that one out.
Okay, here you go. According to the song, what did my true love give to me on the 8th day of Christmas?
Oh, shoot. You got to go through that one.
On the 8th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me. 8 swans are swimming.
Nope.
Rings.
Nope. 5 golden rings.
3 turtles,
8.
3 for sale, 2 for the. And I can stop. Oh,
Why did he give him so many things, though?
Oh, my God.
Come on, guys.
Hey, did we get a hint?
9 geese of laying. 8 birds of
Shitting.
8
shitting birds.
3
French hens.
I don't fucking remember.
8. Hold on a second.
It's been so long. I'll have to wait till all the.
You got a 10 count to get it in. 10. 9. 8.
8 swans are swimming.
7.
Mistletoes?
6. No.
8.
5. 4. 3.
I don't know. I give up.
2.
Dancing.
1.
I don't know.
0. 8 maids of milking.
Oh, that's right. Those hoes.
Those milking ass hoes. Thank you for joining us for Secret
I
Trivia
that
on
one.
Talkumentary. We have been Jeffy the Snowman, Matty Claus, St. James the Elf.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
Take care. Be kind.
Love
Be a good
everybody.
human.
Love you all. Be a good human. And
Protect your hoes.
I say get paid. Santa get paid.
Oh, look at this. What's this?
bye, y'all.
Mm.